You would think that the most obvious fallacies to be found in politics would be the argument from tradition when it comes to conservatives, and the argument from novelty or newness when it comes to progressives. But not all traditions are good or useful. They can often be improved upon. And just because something is change or because something is new doesn't automatically mean that it's any good either. These seem to be pretty obviously fallacious modes of thought. And while you do run into those a lot, the thing that I tend to find much more often, particularly from modern conservatives, is the naturalistic fallacy. That because something is natural, that means that it's right. And in this they share a lot of traits with those who seem to believe in, quotes, natural foods and so on. And yet your average conservative is rather different to your average hippie when it comes to politics. And yet this seems to me to be one of the most elementary and obvious fallacies that there are. Just because something is natural does not mean that it is good. A sprained ankle being a death sentence is mankind in a state of nature, and obviously that's not good, and we can improve upon it. But it's not just in terms of those kinds of things that we can say that we improve upon nature. Cancer is natural. Disease is natural. A natural human does not have weapons to defend himself or to take down prey. A natural human does not farm. A natural human is living tooth and nail every day to survive. And again, it's not just in these ways that we can say that we have improved upon nature. Nature doesn't have welfare systems. It finds it hard to look after the less capable. And it's not automatically good to discard these people. Older, more feeble people often have knowledge or wisdom that is useful. And would you want to be cast aside when you reach that age? I dare say you wouldn't. So this idea that just because something is natural, it is automatically good, simply doesn't hold water no matter which way you look at it. And yet it keeps cropping up in modern conservative circles, more so even than the fallacious arguments from tradition. If you're going to argue that a tradition is good, you need to find an argument beyond the fact that it's a tradition. You have to demonstrate not only that it is useful, but there aren't other things that are more useful. And if you're going to make an argument from nature, you can't just say it's natural and have that be an end to it, or claim that it's inevitable. You have to show that it is empirically the best way to go about things, and that we can't improve upon it. And just as we create tools, agriculture, food, we also have social tools, political tools, and these can evolve and improve and change. But the argument is not whether they're traditional or old or natural or new. The argument has to be more towards their utility, their truth, whether they actually work or not. And this keeps coming up with conservatives when you try to impress upon them the utility of left-wing philosophy. It's not natural. XYZ is natural. You can't overcome nature. You used to die at the age of 30 from toothache, right? We can overcome nature. We can give our conscious minds primacy over our subconscious minds. It is possible. And when we overcome nature, things tend to get better for people. You may view might makes right as natural, but odds are you're not going to be on the mighty end of that spectrum. So we all benefit from being more cooperative. We all benefit from flatter hierarchies. We all benefit from democratically responsive social engineering. And there's no reason that we can't successfully engineer societies. We already have in a great many ways. Education, welfare, healthcare, and it goes on and on and on. All these things that have made lives better represent an overcoming of and a defiance of nature. I hate to have to keep hammering this point home. This is going to seem repetitive, but people don't seem to grasp it or understand it. Just because something is natural does not make it good or necessary. Nature is a bitch. We can do better. So stop using this fallacy to excuse your own sociopathy or one-upmanship, because the odds are you're not going to be the person on top. The odds are very much against you when it comes to that. And so, nature red in tooth and claw is not something that anybody should really be arguing for.